Okay, boys and girls, here we go. I don't know why I got blurry. Oh, let's focus this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a crash course in graphing linear equations, okay? So Alyssa, this is going to be quick, okay? And this was like what you can refer to whenever you have to graph. Because graphing an equation is something you've got to be able to do for high school level math. Like you have to, okay? So first of all, you guys know that a graph is a picture of all solutions, right? And we're doing linear equations, which makes it really easy because we know that all of the solutions are going to form a straight line. Well, all lines are straight. So you don't really need to say straight line, right, Travis? So Travis, this makes life really, really easy, okay? Because we know, like if we have an equation like, you know, we know this is linear because the biggest exponent is 1, right? And, well, anyway, there's stuff about this that you guys don't know yet, but these are all linear. That's what we're doing right now. Okay, so we know that this equation, when you graph it, all of the answers are going to make a straight line. And the nice thing, Ivan, is to make a straight line, all you need are 2 points, minimum. Because if you have 2 points, you can make a straight line. It goes right through the 2 of them, right? So you need a minimum of 2 points. 3 is better, but you need a minimum of 2, right? And so all of these tricks, well, all of these methods are all about finding at least 2 points. That's what we're going to do with all of them. Okay, there's 3 ways. Okay? There's 3 ways. The first one is the least useful, but it's the easiest if your equation's already written like that. Okay? And that is the slope-intercept form. You know that that's your y-intercept, and you know that that number's your slope, right? And you guys all know that. And so the way you do this is you do that point first, whatever it is, you do that number on the y-axis, and then you count your slope. It's rise over run. You count that second. Right? So like for example, well, I don't know, what's your favorite linear equation? CNA? Y equals negative 2x. That's it. Okay, we'll do that one. That's good. Good call, CNA. CNA, you know what's tricky about this one is that I don't see a number there at the end. Do you see what I mean? That really means it's plus 0. So that means my y-intercept is at the origin, which is right there. Yeah? Now we have to do our slope. Our slope is negative 2. Well, negative 2 is really negative 2 over 1. That means we're going to go down 2, and then we're going to go to the right 1. So we're going to go down 1, down 2, and to the right 1. So we're going to go down 1, down 2, and then to the right 1. And we could count that again if we wanted. We could go down 2 more. 1, 2 more, and over 1 more. So down 1, down 2, over 1 more. Just like that. And then you can conecta los puntos. What do you think about that, CNA? Pretty easy. I don't think you guys should be missing those questions. Maybe I'm wrong, but Josh, I don't think that those are too difficult. I think that nobody should miss that. People miss it though because they don't know how to handle a whole number for a slope, and they don't know what to do if they don't see a number written for the y-intercept. That's just 0. And you could take a whole number and put it over 1. Now Audrey, let's check this. You ready, Audrey? Here's what I would do. If I was grading, like if this was a quiz question and I was grading it, right? The first thing I would look for is, does it go through the origin? Is the y-intercept correct? And it is. Second thing I would look for, really, really quick, is the slope positive or negative. This line is going down from left to right. It's going down. So this is a negative slope, and it matches that. So that's right. Just checking like really quick. Okay. That's way number 1. The second way is with the intercepts. And this way is a little bit better. It's a little more useful than this because this only works for linear equations, but this works for all kinds of equations. Okay, so You know the way you find an x-intercept is you put a 0 for y and you figure out what number x is. That gives you 1 point, right? And just like before, for the y-intercept, you put a 0 for x and you figure out what number y has to be. The only time this doesn't work is if you only have one intercept. Like this one, right here, the x and y-intercept are both 0, 0, right? So let's see here. Let's say we had 5x minus y equals positive 10. So Hazel, you see that the x-intercept, I put a 0 for y. So 5 times what is 10? 5 times 2. So 2, 0. That would be my x-intercept. I'm going to say that's right there. Yeah? Alyssa, we're good? So Alyssa, for the y-intercept, we have to be a little careful right here. I got to put a 0 for x, and what I end up with is negative y equals 10. That means y equals negative 10. So that's going to be like way down here somewhere. So this would be 2, and this would be negative 10 for y. But that's 2 points, and that's what we need. We need at least 2 points. So usually we can find both the x and the y-intercept, and that's 2 points, and we can make an equation. We can make our graph. Ivan, we good? Yeah, Ivan? Now, Ivan, sometimes this doesn't work. For example, if you had an equation that said y equals 2, this wouldn't work. If you had an equation that said x equals 1, that wouldn't work. Or if you had something like y equals x, it goes to the origin. This doesn't work. Because you need 2 points, and all 3 of these will only have one intercept. And sometimes this doesn't work. For example, you can't use this shortcut when it's written like this. It's true you can solve for y, but it's easy to mess that up. Yes, sir, Rath? Well, y equals 2 is a horizontal line that would go right through 2 that way. Yeah. Okay. Well, so Alyssa, sometimes this method doesn't work, or it can get tricky, and sometimes this method doesn't work, and it can get tricky. So our third way, and this is the best way, and you should use this if you get stuck doing the others. That's the big idea, Josh. Use this if you're stuck. It always works using a T-chart. Or sometimes you don't even have to write out the T-chart. Sometimes you can just come up with answers just by reading it, right? Like, for example, let's say we had y equals x. Well, that says that y and x are the same number. So, you know, it'd be like 3 and negative 3. Oh, no, 3 and positive 3, or like negative 5 and negative 5, and like 0, 0. Ryan, you know what I mean? Like, if you read it and you can just come up with answers, then if you come up with 3 answers, then you've had enough points to make a line. Right, Maricela? So, Maricela, let's say we had something tricky. Let's say we had something like, I don't know, 2x minus 5y equals 7. That's a really ugly equation. And I can think of one answer right off the top of my head. 1, negative 1. Because that would make 7, right? Because 2 times 1 minus 5 times negative 1, that would make 7. So that's one answer, but like changing this to slope-intercept form, I'm going to have a y-intercept that's a fraction, my x-intercept's a fraction. This would be really hard to graph using one of these 2 methods. Ivan, do you see what I'm saying? Like my y-intercept for this is going to be negative 7/5. And that's not like an easy number to graph. I can't graph that very accurately. And my x-intercept would be 7/2, 3.5, and that's not very pretty to graph either. So the best way to do this kind, in my opinion, would be with a chart, where you pick numbers for x, like negative 2, negative 1, 0, and let's do positive 2. And you just plug those numbers in, and then you see what your numbers here are. Right? So you plug this in for x, 2 times negative 2 minus 5y equals 7, and you solve for y. And then you get your negative 2 and whatever number that is for y. And you do that for all of them. And then you have, actually for this one, we'd have 4 points. So at Oth, if you get stuck doing this method here or this method here, you use a t-chart. Make sense, Ivan? Okay, Ivan. Let's see here. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to put a couple of equations. We're not going to graph them. You're going to tell me which method we're going to use. Slope-intercept form. That's what this is called. Slope-intercept form. You're going to tell me if we're going to find the intercepts or if we're going to use a t-chart, which would be easiest. Do you understand what we're going to do, CNA? Okay, so you're just going to tell me what's easiest. Ready, Krista? Okay, Krista. For the first one, let's do y equals negative 1/2 x minus 3. Ooh, which one's easiest? That's all I want you to do is figure out which method would be easiest. Luis, which one would be easiest for this? Huh? We got 3 methods to graph. Which one for this would be easiest? Do you guys agree with him? Slope-intercept form? Because it's already in the y equals mx plus b form. And this is a whole number, so that's really, really easy. So you just start at negative 3, and then you go down 1 and write 2. Okay, that's good. Let's try another one. (3x minus 2y equals 18). Which method would be easiest for this? What do you think, Josh? Do you think he thinks finding the intercepts would be easiest for this? I agree, because like the x-intercept is 6 and the y-intercept is negative 9. So like the x would be 6, 0, because you put a 0 for y, right? 3 times 6 is 18, right? And then you put a 0 for x. See, negative 2 times what is 18? So that'd be negative 9, like that. And then all you gotta do is just put those 2 things on your graph and connect the dots. That's it. Okay, let's try another one. Oh, yikes. Dun, dun, dun. Oh no, now we're getting rude. Maricela, that's rude right there. Maricela, what do you think about that?
Not make up, find answers.
Okay, so we could find answers for sure. 'Cause that one's really easy, because they're the same. Is this one right now, is it in slope-intercept form? Yeah, what's the y-intercept for this?
0.
Yeah, because there's like plus 0 right there. What's the slope? 1. Yeah. So you could start at 0, 0, and then go up 1 and over 1, up 1 over 1. You could find points like negative 7, 7, 2, 2. Right, okay. Let's try one more. Let's do... Oh, no. Ivan, what do you think about that one?
The last one you did, I don't know.
Using a t-chart. A t-chart. I think a t-chart's the best way to do this one by far. I would use a t-chart. And here's why. My x-intercept, if I try using intercepts, the x-intercept's really easy. Do you see you put a 0 for y? And my x-intercept's 11. My y-intercept, though, it's not so pretty. That's hard to graph. So I don't know how that works, right? And it's not, right now, it's not in slope-intercept form. So I could probably change it, but I'm still going to end up with that. So like if I changed it, I would end up with, let's see, 1/3 x minus 11/3. And that's, man, lots of chances to make mistakes there because you're going to end up dividing by a negative. Really easy to mess this up. Huh. So here's what I would do. I would do my t-chart. Or I would just come up with answers. X minus 3 times what is 11? Wait a minute. Sebastian over there, can we come up with an answer for this? Like just thinking of a solution? But minus 3 times what is 11? How about, tell me if this would work. I'm just going to write it right here in the middle. Would 14 comma 1 work? Would that be a solution, Krista? If x was 14 and y was 1, would that work? Because that would work. Okay. And we also have our x-intercept, so that's actually 2 points right there. So even if we forgot everything, we can still graph it. Huh. Hazel, can we come up with another answer? Check this out. You see how it's x minus? So what if I did something like this? Ready? Watch, check it out. Would that work? 8 and negative 1. So that would be 8 here, right? Minus 3 times negative 1. That would be plus 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. That works. Okay. And that's your crash course.